Hello, this is Paulette Downey, and I am back again with like a mini version of the Ten Commandments and the sixth one. Six. I can never really say six. Six. This, but with the anyway. So I'm back with number six, which is you shall not murder. There were a couple of things that I should have mentioned and I didn't mention, and so I'm going to mention them now. One, yeah. Anyway, so I'm going to mention one because I know this is one that people discuss concerning we should not murder, and that is war. So people will say, okay, if God says that you shouldn't murder, then why is there war? Well, think of it this way: if somebody breaks into your home and as a result you fight that person for self-defense, uh, and it's your life or their life and you're fighting that person, then it's like that's not considered a sin because you're protecting yourself. So same with war is the same thing. Like when we go to war, it's usually for it usually is for self-preservation. In many cases it is to take over land and property and money and people. Many times that is the reason. But like if you have a case like that where somebody is invading your country for those reasons, then of course you are going to have to fight back to defend yourself. So in the case of war, it is not considered a sin. War is not considered a sin, so to speak. Um, yeah, it's not considered a sin. In many cases, when you look in the Old Testament, God had his servants actually go out to war in order to gain territory. So to gain territory and also for self-preservation, because if they didn't fight those who were coming after them, then eventually those people, those that community, that land of people, the countries, whatever, would eventually fight them and take over. So God has permitted wars in a way for self-preservation, and so that's in the Old Testament as well. Losing my voice here. So that is another. Well, that is like an exception, kind of like when I was speaking about suicide and I was speaking about the exceptions when I spoke about murdering other people and that it is a sin. But of course, there are exceptions like self-defense, and so self-defense we have as well as war. Now, another one I'm going to mention, and this one is kind of gray. I don't really know where I should put this, but I'm going to put it here. I'm going to put it on here. I could, there's another commandment I could put it in as well, but I think it actually will fit better in this one than the other one. And so that is another thing that is murderous, and it is when you are committing murder. I'm really losing my voice here. I don't know what's going on, but it is gossip. So gossip and slander. So I know I talked about defamation of character and character assassination, which is one. But then gossip is another one, because gossip is basically when you have an individual, like you have busybodies, and the busybodies, they gather information, from everyone. They kind of like they're busybodies. They're in everybody's business. They're meddling in everybody's business, and they take the most intimate and personal information of the individual, and then they spread it like wildfire. And so sometimes it is true. Other times it is like half truths, but they're gossipers. And so what they do is they gather information, and but they gather it to gossip. Like they don't gather the information just so for their own knowledge. They gather the information to do damage to individuals. So the gossiper, that is also another way of murdering a person, like spreading a person's personal information, like actually getting the information and then spreading it out. So that is also another form of committing murder to a person, because we should not be gathering. First of all, we shouldn't, there are cases, but I mean, if you're doing it for yourself, well, we shouldn't be meddling in other people's lives. But of course, like if you're looking to employ someone or whatnot, there's a different thing. But in most cases, you shouldn't be like snooping in other people's lives. And like what they do is they snoop in everyone's life. So everyone who's around them, they're snoops, they are gossipers, they are busybodies, which is a sin. It's in the Bible. God can't stand busybodies. And what they do is after they collect all this information, and then they just gossip. They either gossip, or if they get certain kind of information, they will even use it to hold over the person's head. So that's another thing. It's wrong, and it is a sin, and it is a part of murdering a person's character. Because if you're taking information that is sensitive and that could damage that person's reputation, and then you're spreading it out to other people, then you are destroying a person's life. We all have, personal things that have gone on in our lives that we don't want shared. Every last one of us. And, I find it interesting because I find the people who do stuff like that the most are the people who have the most personal information that they don't want shared. And this is something I find. I find it's the people who spread gossip and spread rumors and go out to destroy other people's lives. I find it is those people who have the most intimate information that could cause the most damage to their reputation. And maybe this is a way of them deflecting from all the stuff that is going on in their world by spreading stuff about other people and what's going on in their life. I also find interesting that the golden rule, which Jesus spoke of, do unto others what others would have do unto you. And you have individuals who spread gossip and defame people's reputations. But if you were to do the same thing to them, then you would be considered not a good person. So, like Jesus says, do unto others as others would have, do unto others as you would have others do unto you. And people who do the things that they do to hurt people's reputations or hurt people's lives, and to get them to a point, in some cases where, they are, I'm trying to think of the word, desolate. So they're in a desolate state. They would not want you to do that to them. Like what they do to you, they wouldn't want you to do that to them. And if you did it to them, it would be next to a crime, like next to a serious crime. But it is true that we should do unto others as we would have others do unto us. And so when people do things like that, it's almost like you're giving permission to say, okay, well, you've done this to me, I can do this to you. Don't do what they do. No. I'm not saying that, but I'm not saying that you mirror what they do to you. Don't do that. Don't take vengeance out on anyone. Allow room for God's vengeance, because God can avenge the way we can't. When God, delivers his vengeance, we will look at it and say, oh, I would have never been able to do that, because he can get people in ways that we could never even think to get them. So never take vengeance out on anyone. So And I wish I had said this in the previous message. So, yes, no vengeance. So, if you find that you're in a situation where, you've experienced character assassination, or where you're experiencing personal information being leaked out to people, being gossiped about, and everything like that, don't take vengeance. Do not take vengeance. Leave enough room for God to take out vengeance, and He will avenge those individuals in a way that we never could, especially if you're a follower of Jesus Christ. He will avenge all those who did evil to you and did wrong to you in a way that you never could. But yes, really and truly, if you don't have a problem with people, you know, doing things like such things as gossiping, or spreading rumors or character assassination on your life, then if you don't have a problem with it, then you shouldn't have a problem with people doing it to you. But like I said, do not do what people are doing to you. But I'm just talking about the people who actually do these things. They should, of course, not have a problem if anyone does it to them. But if you are experiencing that, don't do that. Please don't do that. Just no vengeance. Let God's vengeance be the vengeance. We cannot do vengeance the way God can do vengeance. Just sit back, do whatever God is calling you to do. Just be a light in the world. Live your life day to day. Live, green pastures, so to speak, Psalms 23. Just live that life, rest in His presence, do the things that He wants you to do, and let God take out vengeance on your enemies. So that's basically the message that I had to deliver. And so until next week, take care and God bless. Mwah.